I am Elaine Hall-Corbin, and welcome to Artists of Color. It is a program show that features organizations of culture and community artists. And today, my guest is a great, amazing woman. I've known her for many, many years. And I'd like to introduce my folks that are watching today to Miss Barbara Barrow-Murray. Good afternoon, Barbara.
Hey, Elaine, it's been quite a battle trying to get here, but we're here. How you doing?
We made it.
Yeah, we're here.
How are you?
I'm doing good today.
Good. How's COVID treating you?
I'm trying to stay away from it, running as fast as I can.
I don't
Just
blame
to get
you.
away.
Me too.
Yeah, a friend of mine invited me to the islands, to St. Croix, and I said, when COVID slows down, she said, everybody in St. Croix has masks. They make them wear masks on the plane, and they all have to have had a shot, and they have to have a COVID test within 5 days. So I said, well, that sounds maybe like a safe place to go. So maybe when it gets a little cold, I'll head that way. But I am running hard away from COVID. It takes work. You have
yes, it does.
You got to keep your distance. As a senior citizen, I can't believe that I'm one, but I've been one for a minute. And you got to stay away. You got to work on it. Got to work on it. So far, so good.
Good. Barbara, you've had an amazing life.
I've known you. Yet. You sound like it's over.
You have an amazing life. You still have, you continue to have an amazing life. I know because I've known you for a long time.
Yeah.
You know, we're talking way back in the day.
All right.
So we're still there. Barbara, tell us a little bit about you. Who is Barbara Barrow-Murray?
I am who I am. I'm just, I'm a regular girl from Roxbury. Was born to sort of immigrant parents. My mom came from Canada, and my dad is first generation born here from Barbados and Guyana. So I'm sort of a quasi-immigrant child. I was born in Boston, raised in Boston, went to school in Boston, did my undergraduate work, UMass Boston. So I am a product of Boston. I am very proud of that. Born and raised in Roxbury, love it to death.
Don't we all?
I'm just I was very fortunate. You know, I was very fortunate. I had my dad was close friends with Elma Lewis because they both have Barbados roots. And when I told him, he asked me one day, what do you want to be? I think I was about 5. I said, I want to be a doctor like my grandfather, and I want to be a dancer. And he said, wow. Okay, well, for the doctor part, you're going to have to do some hard studying. For the dancer part also is true, but I will send you to a friend of mine. And he took me to Elma Lewis, and I met Elma Lewis, and she was very strict, but I fell in love with dance. And she was my mentor from then until she died, actually. And so throughout life, she always colored my life in terms of what happened, my life in dance, my life in television. And in fact, that's how I got there. That's how I got there. You know,
what was dancing like with Miss Lewis?
What was it like?
What was it like?
It was a very strict discipline. It was a very strict discipline. She is a great picture there. She took us to the beginnings of Elma Lewis Playhouse in the Park. That's before we became that. And she told us that she wanted us to walk on the rocks. You know, there are 2 columns of stones on both sides, and they framed what would be a stage, which became the stage. And she had us walk and line up just like that on the stage, on the rocks, to take pictures. And all of us did that, different girls at different times. And our life was just like that. She would be with us in every single move we did. If it was a move that she couldn't do, she would get what she called one of the bigger girls who did it before when she was dancing. And
Oh,
she showed them how to do it when she was dancing. And they would come on the floor and they would demonstrate, and then they would leave and we would do it. And every single thing she did through example, one way or another, either having younger girls teach it, older girls teach us, or one of the older boys come and teach us, like that shot that you saw.
yeah, that was
George
Fred,
with
wasn't
the
it?
chicken. That was us dancing Caribbean dance, and he would dance on the stage with a chicken. Now you know how afraid of birds are.
Yes.
He would dance with a bird.
Barbara said, "No chickens, please."
No chickens, but it didn't matter. She told me to dance on that stage, chicken or no chicken,
No, you had to dance on that
I
stage.
danced on that stage. And she just taught us discipline. And it was something that not only how to dance, but how to live. And that is, in fact, who I became. That is who I became. I became a very disciplined person. I'm still that. I am not as disciplined as I used to be, but I wish I were. I think if she was still around, I probably would be just as disciplined as I used to be. But
because she'd make sure you were.
That's who Barbara is.
I want to go back to Miss Lewis.
Okay.
We've talked about her a lot.
Okay.
But she mentored you, and she mentored you for a long time, like you said, up until the day she passed.
Yeah.
What part of your life? Well, I know all of your life, but what parts of your life were the most important that she mentored you in, that got you to where you are now?
Let's see if I can answer that. She told me, I guess I worked as an administrative assistant to the financial director at the National Center of African American Artists for about a year. And she said, I think you need to work in television. And I said, work to do what? And she said, I want you to come there to work on the first Black show in the country. I found out later that it really was by a month the second Black show in the country. The first Black show was done by a friend of mine, Alice Hazlett. And what do they call that show? Loud Shout, something.
What?
I can't remember, but it was the first one and started in September of 1968. Say Brother officially started in October of 1968. Anyway, she asked me to come on Say Brother, to interview for the job, first of all, and I did.
Mm-hmm.
And when I did that, I had to fight hard for that job because they wanted to give the job, obviously, to somebody else. But they had to really, I had to work. You know, someone can lead you to a position, they can lead you to something, but you have to be ready when you get there. If you haven't done the previous work, you're not going to get it. You know, just because they open the door for you does not mean you're going to get it.
You're going to get in the door.
It means that you have to be ready. Well, fortunately, I was ready. I mean, I had a great push. I had a great push, but they made me, now this is for an entry-level TV job. I had to go to the human relations person. Okay. I had to go to human resource person. And then we used to call him personnel director, so I forgot. So anyway, the human resource person, I had to go to the general manager. I had to go to the producer of Say Brother at that time, and I had to go to the president of WGBH. Now, all that for entry-level job, that's sort of crazy, right?
Yes, it is.
That's how much they wanted to not, I believe, to do something else. But they didn't do something else. They hired me. And Ms. Lewis said, I know you have a technical job to learn and that you have to do it, but the main reason I want you to go on that show is to save our history.
Here you go.
And I said, save our history? She said, yes. She said, you know, all the tapes for Say Brother get re-recorded on, you know, they record a show, and we had top people in the business, regardless of what the industry was, they came through Say Brother. And she wanted us to make sure that we save the history. So that meant don't let them re-record over those shows. So as a PA, a production assistant, I had to learn what that meant really. So I went downstairs to the traffic, which is called traffic. They controlled all the videotapes. And they said, I've been wondering when, the girl said, I was wondering when somebody from that show was going to come down here and ask me about re-recording on your masters. She said, but no one ever came before. But I said, well, I'm here now. I said, and Elma Lewis sent me. So tell me what
That was it.
No, tell me what I need to do to have us stop doing that. She said, the first thing you need to do is tell your producer to order more stock, you know, more videotapes, so that we did not lose the masters or even original programs that were recorded. So that's what I did. And she said, and when they call up for a tape to record on, do not call on your masters. She said, make specific logs so you know exactly where something starts and when it ends. And then you know when the next space is clear and where something stops and when it ends. So that was my first lesson in being a PA. The second lesson was making sure that I did not bring up any masters to record over. And so that was my primary job for the community, to keep our history safe. And now they have it in something called the vault, which means nobody can get to it unless you have negotiated something with the people who are on that tape. Like we did things with Billy Taylor, Odetta, Four Tops, The Temptations, Johnny Mathis. I'm just trying to think of people.
Webster Lewis.
They're popping in my mind, huh?
Webster Lewis.
All kind of people. So those people would agree to let me record them for a period of time. Like maybe they said, we'll give you the rights for 3 years. We don't know if you're going to be here after 3 years. So we'll say 3 years. Anything that WGBH wanted to use at that time, they did, but they had to get permission after that 3 years. So they would come to me, and they have been doing that, maybe not in the last 10 years, but up to that, they come to me and say, can we use this? I'm like, not unless you go to the estate or the individual, if they're still alive, and get permission from them. And they did that, and they had to pay to be able to use or run or even negotiate the broadcast of that piece on someone else's show. So that's pretty much how that went. And so I like to think that I saved some of the history of our community.
Did you become the producer for Say Brother?
Yep.
I thought you did. How was that?
I stayed the producer for 15 years. I guess I stayed the producer for 10 years. I took the other 5 years to get there. It was crazy. But I loved it. I absolutely loved it. You know, you did all of the groundwork. You did the trench. You were the line producer. You were the executive producer. You were everything. Ultimately, I was promoted to series producer, which is like an executive producer. And I did that for, like I said, I did that for about 10 years. It was great. You know, I had a great staff. I had different people there. I loved the staff. They were just as excited in the Black community about the Black community as I was. And it was primarily a local community, but we also branched out to a broader national community as well. And covered every discipline.
Amazing. Besides being a studio producer, you've also been a teacher.
Yeah.
You've taught
Teach.
production
Yeah.
to people. One of those people being me.
Mhm.
What is it? What made you decide to teach?
Actually, Curtis Henderson, he was the one who hired me, and he said, I want you. I worked there, I guess, a couple of months running the education department. He said, I really want you to teach new people coming into BNN. And I said, okay. He said, they are people who know nothing about this profession. They're doctors and lawyers and teachers and everything else. And they have ideas that they would like to get on the air that they don't see mainstream. So I want you to teach them how to do that. And so that's when I started teaching. So they gave me a rough syllabus and I worked that out. I turned it to a brand new curriculum, created a new syllabus, and I trained them from that. And I had two instructors that worked with me. The first one was Keith Williams, Keefo, who I
Kifo, he was
missed
there with me.
terribly. Yeah, and he was the guy who taught all the technical stuff, you know, the
Yeah.
lighting, the audio, camera work, video, all the technical stuff. And then after Keith left, he recommended when he was leaving, he was going down south to be with a girlfriend. He recommended his former colleague from Channel 5, whose name is Leroy McLaurin. So Leroy became the next technical instructor. And so he worked with me as well. And so he would teach all the stuff that Keith was teaching. And I would continue to teach hosting, interviewing, writing, producing, script writing, and how to work with the teleprompter. And so I really enjoyed doing that as well. In fact, I'm still doing that right now. I'm not teaching all of it, but I'm started off as an independent to teach hosting and interviewing. Yes. And I know we're not supposed to sell anything on BNN, so that's as much as I'll say.
I can't wait. I mean, I've taken your classes, so I know what you've taught me.
Yeah.
All I want to know when it comes to this new teaching method, have you added stuff to that that wasn't taught before, or is it basically the same?
Well, the people who took the class before, excuse me, the people who took the class before will recognize a lot of material, but I've added new material that consisted of the advanced teaching materials that other people didn't have a chance to take. So unless you took the advanced class, you didn't have a chance to learn that. So I incorporated that as the basic material. So for 2 hours, they get the beginner, the basic part, and then they go out to intermediate and advanced. And so I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
It sounds like it.
Yeah,
I'm
hearing from people all around the world, literally,
which is good.
Who I used to work with, or teach, or dance with, or just hung out with, or went to school with, and it's really exciting hearing from these people. I want them to take my class, however, I don't want to just say hi. but some of them have signed up, and some of them haven't.
Okay.
I'm trying to encourage them all. Yeah.
Sounds good. Sounds good. When is your launch date?
Launch
for the classes?
April 27th, actually.
Okay.
April 27th. Yeah.
Oh, great.
I do it goes one a month. April, May, June. April, May, and June. I have 4 dates, though, I thought. But anyway, I'm not looking at it, so.
I hear you. Well,
I'll look at it while we're talking.
Yes. I want to talk about you being an Emmy Award winner. How was that? What areas of the television industry that you got Emmys for?
I won as a host, scriptwriter, producer, director. On one Emmy comes a plaque, depending upon what you did on the show. Okay. One Emmy comes a plaque. Now, one area was special programming. Special programming went for a dance special that I created in Boston and New York. And it was a dramatic piece based on one of Langston Hughes' poems. Oh. And that piece, we had dancers, we had musicians, we had poets. It was an incredible piece. I shot half of it in New York, in a studio in New York. I used a lot of New York dancers. I brought 2 dancers from Boston that I knew and that had danced with me back in that day. And so you have a specials area, and then I won documentary specials. The documentary piece, the first piece was called Blues and Gone. The next piece was called, was about Levi Hart, In the Matter of Levi Hart. And that piece was a documentary on a young man who was shot to death by a Boston police officer for having stolen a car. He was in a car chase, and he was caught over by the Fenway. And before he could even get out of the car fully, one leg was in, one leg was out. He was shot to death. Doesn't sound pretty familiar, doesn't sound doesn't sound a whole lot different than 2021.
Thank you.
And that was in 1980. That was in 1980. So look at that. No difference.
No difference.
1980, 2021. Same thing. People are getting taken out the same way.
Same way.
And so I won a documentary. I won an Emmy for that documentary. I was in New York actually shooting Blues and Gone, oddly enough. And when I got back to Boston, I was in New York, I guess, about a month. When I got back to Boston, that was in the news. And I was reading the newspapers, and I was watching the old news clips, and people were telling me. And so I did a lot of research. I happened to know the judge who handled that case. His name was Judge Banks. Judge Banks was an old friend of Elma Lewis's.
No, I remember Judge Banks.
And because I had given his, I think it's because I had given his daughter her first job out of Harvard, he did a favor for me. And I asked, the favor was, could I get the transcripts from the Levi Hart case? And he said yes. So he made it available for me to get all the transcripts. So I got all the transcripts, and I studied them like I was getting a degree in that. And I learned that case forward, backward, and sideways. And I produced a documentary on it. And there were 4 witnesses. And of course, 4 witnesses saw four different things. And everything they saw, I dramatically reenacted. So I had actors come and dramatically reenact that. So we went back to the streets of Boston, down at the Fenway, and we produced 4 reenactments of that, including the reenactment of Levi Hart being shot in the car.
Oh my goodness.
And I had a phenomenal cast. I hope they're all doing well. But there was a lot of work. You have to work. You want to win an Emmy, you're going to work for it. And so that was one of the ones that I did. So documentaries, specials, and then the regular series itself. For Say Brother, the regular series. So I won for the whole series, yeah.
Wow.
And then we won in lighting, and we run in set design, and we won. We had lighting and set design and audio, And there was another category that we won in as well. I can't remember. But over the years, there was quite a bit of work, and I have 3 statues and 4 plaques.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, 3 statues and 4 plaques, and 27 Emmy nominations.
See?
Yeah.
And everybody knows you.
Everybody doesn't know me.
Most people I talk to, and I mentioned the name Barbara Brum, you know her? Yeah. I've known her for many years. Of course I know her.
Okay.
You know?
Well, I do know a
You-
lot of people, and a lot of people know me.
There you go.
Probably know people, more people know me than I know.
Then you know them.
Because, people see you on the air. I'm sure the
Right.
same is true for yourself. They see you on the air and they feel like they know you,
Yes.
but I don't really know them. I remember one time I was in Martha's Vineyard, and I was with a dear friend, Beth Deere and Tanya Hart, and we used to vacation together all the time. And we were vacationing with our husbands and our kids down in Martha's Vineyard. And I was in Edgartown, where we ended up buying a house. We were down by the docks, and the boats were coming in, and we were walking down there to see. And this white lady came up, and she was like, oh.
See?
We're like, are you okay?
Yeah.
I know all 3 of you. I know all 3 of you. Oh my God. Oh my God. And it was funny. We didn't know this lady from a hole in the wall, but she recognized us. She recognized Tanya from Coming Together, and both Beth and I had hosted Say Brother. So she recognized us from there. And so, a lot of people know you that you don't really know.
That you don't really know.
Yeah. So more people know us than we know them, but that's okay. We feel like we know them and that we love the community, wherever it is. Because if they can see us as part of our community,
That's right.
That's sort of how we feel.
Yeah. You recently, in 2020, received an award from the Boston Equal Rights League.
Yeah.
And on Crispus Attucks Day.
I did.
Did you know you were going to receive that award?
Within the week's time, I did. That's the picture from what was that sister's name?
Thompson. Yes, that's her last name. I can't remember her first name either. There you go. Yes.
Picture. Yes. That was a nice day. It wasn't
it? It was a beautiful day.
Jackie
Payne Thompson.
Jackie Payne Thompson. Yeah, that's who that was. And she was a student of mine as well.
She was.
Yeah, she was. She was a student as well.
Oh, that's right. She was, wasn't she? Yeah.
She was a good producer. She produced a lot of work in education. And I enjoyed working with her, and I enjoyed getting that award that day. That was very special and very nice. Yeah, I guess within a week's time, they told me, because I had to get there. I had to physically get over there. That's before COVID, of course. Actually, it's just before COVID.
It was, yes, it was.
Just before, because
March 5th.
March 5th, 2020.
And a few weeks later, the city shut down.
Within 2 weeks. I think by the 15th, they were shut down.
They were shutting down.
Shut down. So that was my last public appearance.
I hear you.
To now, really. I mean, everything now is Zoom. So, everything now is Zoom. But that was our last public appearance. And that was great. That was really great. You came with me that day, actually.
Yes, I did.
That was great. Yeah, I enjoyed that.
I did. There was, and I'm hoping we have that video. I don't remember, but there was a video of a Native American tribe that was there, and they did.
That's right. From Massachusetts. Yes.
They were amazing.
That was an experience that I won't forget for a long time.
Me either.
I don't think you gave that video to Ashley.
I thought I did.
Well, she just ran through before we started the show. She ran through the pictures she had. I didn't see it.
Oh, you didn't? Okay.
I was watching them all. I didn't see that one. So I don't think she has that.
Okay.
But
that was beautiful.
It was a great ceremony.
Wasn't it?
Ceremony. Yeah.
Yes. I want to talk about what you're doing now.
I,
We're here in 2021. What
yeah,
is Barbara Barrow-Murray doing?
one of the things that I'm doing is, I'm doing a lot of things. One of the things that I'm very excited about is I'm developing a proposal to celebrate the end of a dance career of this fantastic dancer. Um, I was going to send you his picture, but you told me that's enough. No more pictures. I didn't end up
Listen,
getting a chance.
I don't know what to do here.
Right. So I have several pictures of his name is Brooklyn. Brooklyn Mack is his name.
Brooklyn Mack.
And he comes from Brooklyn. And so, of course,
Oh, okay.
the dance special is going to be called Brooklyn. And he comes from Brooklyn. His name is Brooklyn. And he danced, not in Brooklyn, he danced for the Washington Ballet Company. And
Oh, really?
he was one of the major
I was
master
going to say,
male
was he a
dancers.
lead?
And he was phenomenal. He was phenomenal. So we have some footage of him and of his entire career, and even from when he was a little boy, and through the performances he did there, and he has danced worldwide. And
Oh,
so he
my
danced for
goodness.
kings and queens. He danced for
What?
Queen Elizabeth. He's danced worldwide.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he is so phenomenal, so phenomenal. And so we have footage of that. We're going to talk with him, and we're going to go down to North Carolina where he lives now
Oh,
and
jeez.
shoot him doing,
She's heading to North Carolina.
yeah, and we're going to shoot him there, and he's going to be teaching a master class there. So we'll be shooting that and working on a new piece of choreography. So we're very excited about that. I'm taking my young colleagues,
I know you are.
Erica and Lexi, are coming
Lexi.
with me. Yeah, they're coming and they're going to shoot and they're going to PA and they're going to do everything. They're like,
Everything
I'm
else
never going to work with that chick again.
Let's talk more about that after our break.
Okay. Waiting for the break.
We are waiting for the break.
Okay.
But wow, that's going to be amazing. Mm. Well, we are back.
We are back.
And it is good. And again, my today's guest is the amazing, I call her amazing, Barbara Barrow-Murray, 7-time Emmy Award winner, producer, teacher, friend, and just all around Roxbury girl.
And mom.
That's what I call her.
Mom part. I love.
Oh yeah, she's a mom and a grandmom.
And a grandma.
You got those people
kids.
in there too.
There you go.
So tell us more about this dancer and the doctor with the. So when are you going down? When are you going down to North Carolina?
As soon as we get the funding, we're going. It's hopefully I'd say within 6 months, we should be started and well into it. But it takes a while, to get underwriting.
Oh, yes.
But we are working on those proposals and we are submitting them. And I'm doing it with, my mind's gone blank. Every time I do one of these interviews, my mind goes blank.
That's all right. Mine does too, so don't feel bad.
Goodness gracious, she's gonna kill me. Oh my God. Well, let's keep talking.
Yes.
Yeah. But anyway, she is the co-producer because she knew Brooklyn Mack throughout her life. And she is this woman, Carolyn. What's Carolyn's last name? I guess I was good to get the first name.
Don't feel bad. You know how we do.
Carolyn was a teacher. She was a teacher too, but she was a student of, remember I said Elma Lewis would use the big girls to teach the younger girls how to get the
Was
pieces
she one
together?
of them?
She was one of the students of one of the big girls whose name was Angie. Angie. Okay, so here goes the names. Angie. And she danced for Angie when Angela Bowen Peters. Angela moved to Connecticut.
Oh, yes. I remember that name.
When Angela moved to Connecticut, Carolyn grew up in Connecticut. And so she ended up taking classes from her as a young girl. And she was very impressed with her. I mean, Angie was just like Elma Lewis.
Okay.
And she taught classes, took classes from her. And so when she moved around the country and then ultimately came to Boston, she looked me up because we had that connection with Elma Lewis. And we've been friends ever since. She took my class. She taught a class of ballet here. She had at the Harriet Tubman, the now gone Harriet Tubman
Oh,
House.
please,
She
yes.
taught dance there for a lot of the community kids. And then when she did that, they got to do some shows on camera at BNN from those classes. She also created a show where the kids they had their own show, they hosted it and they interviewed guests. And it was great. So, it's great to see that keep going generation after generation. But it's because of Carolyn. Carolyn looked me up and she said, let's do, I want to call her Jenkins. Is that really her name? Or am I making that up? I'm sorry, Carolyn. I'm old and crazy. I can't remember. I can't remember exactly. But anyway.
That was bad. That's all right, Barbara. We got it.
But Carolyn, it was Carolyn's friend, Brooklyn. And she knew Brooklyn from New York. And they spent a lot of time together. And because Brooklyn is retiring now, she thought it'd be great to document him. And knowing my love for dance, I guess
that would be perfect for you.
Yeah, so that's why we decided to join forces and co-produce this piece called Brooklyn.
Oh,
that's how that came about.
I can't wait.
I'm going to keep you posted on that.
Please do. I'm excited.
Something on your show at that point. Maybe we might even be back in the studio then. And
maybe. I hope so.
Do some stuff. That would be great.
Wouldn't it?
Yeah, that would be great.
There is a show that you produced, and I want to talk a little bit about that. Sister Talk.
Sister Talk. Okay.
Yes. Tell us how that came to be and how you put that together.
And how what?
How you put that show together.
Well,
first of all, what made you want to do it?
That's another one of those Curtis Henderson projects. Curtis Henderson, he saw Sister Talk 1. Sister Talk 1 was created by some doctors and some producers out of Providence, I think. And so he wanted a series like that. So we called it Sister Talk 2 because a new set of doctors wanted a similar study. So, and I think it was like a few years later. So we did this. He came to me, he said, I think you'd be good to do this. The show was on cardiovascular disease prevention. And there were a series of producers for every cardiovascular disease you can think of, whether it was hypertension or diabetes or headaches or anything. You name the discipline, and there was a doctor for each one. And so what we did was we followed the doctors with B-roll. We had camera. Keith shot a lot of that B-roll. And I had other shooters as well. And I had a couple of producers to help me with that. And one thing about television, it is not a solo act. It is
it's not.
Effort. It is a group effort. It takes people from all over the place. Even at this slimmed down version of Zoom, we got Ashley and the master orchestrator for all this.
All of this.
For all of this. And I'm sure she could use some help. Hint, hint, if they want to help out. But it is a team effort.
Yes, it is.
What television is. And in producing Sister Talk 2, it was definitely a team effort. I had Nina La Negra as one of the producers. She produced a piece on stress. I produced a piece on stress. The entire thing was AP. The associate producer was Tiffany Hill Rock.
Tiffany.
Yeah, in fact, she came up to Boston to visit me not too long ago,
Yeah.
and has a baby, and so I got to meet her baby.
Which you loved.
Oh, that child rules the world. She rules my house. I have to buy new shades. In fact, she tore up my blinds from my patio.
Oh, okay.
That's a 15-month-old world ruler. That baby is.
I believe it.
Her name is Royale, by the way.
Oh,
Royale.
nice. I like the name.
She has a name that puts her in charge.
Yes, it does.
Right.
After listening to you.
So yeah, the Sister Talk 2 was a masterful piece. Sarah and Shaw was one of the hosts.
Oh.
We had 2 hosts. Of course, the other sister's name I can't remember. I'm sorry. I chalk it all up to being a senior citizen. Sometimes stuff just goes away, and I don't know when it's coming back. For me to forget Carolyn's name is tripping me out. But anyway, so that's how Sister Talk came about. The doctors were very happy with it. It was in fact, all the doctors came from Brigham and Women's Hospital.
Oh, all right.
And they were incredible.
There you go. There you go.
And we had a team of women. I'm not going to remember everybody's name.
I was going to say, let's not try that one.
I remember Terry. I remember Beverly. And there were a couple more. I can't remember. I'm sorry. But that's the best I got. Those women were called our real women.
Okay.
Because they demonstrated or represented different aspects of the cardiovascular disease breakdown in terms of what was going on. Obesity was one of them. Smoking was one of them.
Okay.
And so different people had different issues, and so they represented those issues. And so we would follow them like a day in the life of. We would follow them, and they would show you how they ate or how they relaxed and smoked or how they relaxed and drank or whatever they did, so we will show you that, we spend time in the sub shops. We spend time in the smoke shop.
The smoke shop.
Yeah, we were all over the place. Yeah, it takes a lot of stuff to take you out. And when they talk about cardiovascular disease prevention, we went in all the places that were not prevented, that was taking people out. Yeah, and a lot of those women, though, stopped doing what they were doing. One of the women lost 100 pounds from that. She stopped smoking entirely, There was one who had stress really off the charts. Her name is Josie. But she didn't get over her stress because her son was illegally locked up for life.
What?
Yeah, and in the stress piece that I produced, there is a piece that dramatically reenacts what he was accused of. He was accused of shooting somebody down in Mission Hill, Maine. He was dealing drugs at that time, but he did not shoot anybody. But he was accused of it and found guilty for it, even though there were affidavits from people that were there. In fact, even there was another guy that had gotten shot at the same time. And he said, his name was Steve. Steve was not the shooter. Steve was not the shooter. He is not the one who shot me. And the person who shot him was the same person who Steve was accused of shooting killing the other person. So, I mean, there were affidavits, there were witnesses they would not let get up on the stand. The system.
Yeah.
Judicial system. Judge Judy has a animated piece.
Judge Judy.
She has an animated piece at the top of her show where Justice is holding the weight. She's holding the weights up, and as she holds the weights up, there's a blindfold over her face, And then if you look at the blindfold drops down and she winks, you know, and that for me says justice is by depending upon who's looking at it.
There you go. Who's looking at it?
And what's not just. Because the judicial system has not in many cases worked for people of color.
No, it has not.
It has not worked for many people of color. So I said all that to try to explain to you what Sister Talk 2 is about.
Well, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. We're going to come up to now. You left us. You're no longer in Roxbury. We miss you terribly.
My heart is in Roxbury.
I know every time I walk down the street.
I sleep in Randolph. But my heart is in Roxbury. And the only reason why I'm here to tell you people
I know
is because, well, they don't know. I'm here because I could not afford to find a house. And it was time for me to find a house. And I could not afford to find one that I could afford in Roxbury and Boston, anywhere. So my realtor, who was Britt Johnson, who was fantastic, took me all around Greater Boston. We went all around. And I said, I can't stand to be more than 15 miles away. I can't, because I need to get back to Boston quickly because my life is in Boston. So what she did was she had a situation where she was able to find properties elsewhere. And she found me a wonderful condo on the first floor because I am not as agile as I used to be. So I didn't want to do a bunch of stairs. And she found me a spot in Randolph, a condo that I absolutely love. And it's in a facility that's with a group of people that live in here. They all have different condos all throughout. It's like, I think there's like 30 condos in this one building. Maybe a little more, I don't know. I can't remember. And I bought this house, and this condo has worked out perfectly for me. I absolutely love it. It's a little different living not in the city, but I am in what's called downtown Randolph. So it's not way out in the
sticks.
You know, it's not way out in the sticks, but it's different. I like it, but I would have preferred to stay home. I would have preferred to stay.
I preferred to stay home.
Yeah, I would prefer to stay home, but it's okay. I left my heart in Roxbury, and that's where it is. That's where it remains. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm still a Roxburyite.
There you go.
And that's it.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
I hear you.
Like I said,
you're doing something that you and I've talked about, and I've kind of like, you have a business.
Yeah, I've had businesses throughout my life.
Right. But you have this particular business. Let's talk about Market America.
BBM and Associates.
BBM and Associates. Let's talk about that. We've got a little bit of time, not a lot, but a little bit.
So BBM and Associates is a culmination of who I am.
There you go.
BBM and Associates, I work on other people's shows. I will manage your show. I will produce your show for you. I will direct your show for you. I will teach, which is one of the things I decided to do, those independent Zoom classes. I'm going to do one in hosting and interviewing. I'm going to do one in producing and how to actually produce a show, whether the show is on Zoom or whether the show is on TV or radio. So, you know, I have a radio show. I have my own TV show. Say Brother Radio was the name of my show. Say Brother Radio. Not Say Brother, but Say Brother Radio.
Say Brother Radio, everyone.
Yeah. So I have the facility to be able to show you how to start from a little corner and build it out into being whatever kind of production you want. I have Emmys and everything. I can produce anything. And like I said before, producing is not a solo trip. It is a job that has a team of people. And I have my team of people. That's the point of and associates. That's what that means, BBM and associates.
Yes.
So my associates come in whenever I need them, to shoot, to edit, to direct, whatever I need them to do. I do a lot of that myself, but I know what I do well, and I know what other people do well. And if they do it better than me, I'm going to hire them to do it. I'm not the best lighting person. I got a good eye, but I know some great people who write. I know some great people who can direct as well, even though directing is my forte. I love directing.
Yes, you do.
But it doesn't mean that other people cannot do it, and they do it. So that's what BBM and Associates is. BBM and Associates is a house where you can get anything you want that has anything to do with media. Okay, so whether you want someone to teach a class, a solo class, or you want a class that has to deal with just one discipline, we can do one discipline. If you want a whole show, you can get.
We can do a whole show.
Or a series, whatever you like. Mm-hmm. So where do we go from here?
We have just a couple of minutes left.
Okay.
And I would like to ask you, how do you think we can get you back to Boston?
Get me some property that I can afford, and I'll come back.
I miss you. You know how much I miss you.
Yeah,
it's funny. I say that because every time I walk down the street, because I do walk, every time I walk down the street and I go by our old street, I said, she's not there anymore. I can't walk down the street.
I know. Haywood Fennell tells me that.
I drive through the street almost every day.
I know. He tells me that all the time. Believe me, I miss being there too. The only way I can come back to Boston is when I can afford it. If the property values get to the point where I can find something that is similar to what I have right now, if it's similar to what I have right now and is cost effective that way, I can come back to Boston.
There you go.
But I definitely have to have something that's equal to what
cost
I got
effective.
Here. Yeah.
I understand.
Cost. I got to have it so that it's equal to what I have here. But I love you guys, and I'm not really far away. 14 miles to my door.
I know that's not far.
Yeah, it's not. I know it's not like going around the corner, but it's okay.
Okay.
It's okay.
Well, Barbara Barrow-Murray, it's been a great conversation. I have had so much fun. Finally, I've got to interview my good friend, an amazing lady.
Yes.
Who has done so much for and in the community to help keep our history alive.
Yes.
And talk about those folks that have been part of her life. And I thank you.
You're welcome. It was a fun conversation for me too.
I'm glad. I had a good time. We're going to do this again.
Okay, that sounds good.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So I want to thank my audience for being with us today. I'm Elaine Hall-Corbin, and you have been watching Artist of Color with my guest, Barbara Barrow-Murray. Thank you. Have a great day, and keep safe and stay away from COVID.